Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Our Voices podcast. I'm Sophia, and I am the podcast co. Today, I'm joined with a very special person. I know you have met the rest of the team, but why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Cami. I am one of the new editors, and I am also the president of the Environmental Club at Hollister High School.
Yeah, so we actually have two awesome editors who work on our podcast. So why don't we kind of go into the icebreaker? I know back to school season is right around the corner. We have it like next week. I'm scared. I don't want to do it.
So exciting.
Yeah, but why don't we talk about? I know me and you were both in our senior year. But out of all the four, well, I guess you can only talk about the three. But out of the 3 years that we've already gone through, which one was your favorite?
Oh, that's a difficult question, but I'm definitely gonna have to say my sophomore year. It was the funnest, and I was like kind of getting the hang of things and like just having fun, I guess. And then junior year came, so. But what was yours?
Oh, that's also really hard. It's also between, well, for me, I really liked my junior year because freshman year, you're obviously like, you're still very new, you're scared. Sophomore year, you're getting the hang of things. But junior year had to be my favorite because that's when I really kind of like I really found who I was in terms of how I wanted to dress, how I wanted to style myself. It's where I met a lot of my favorite teachers. Mr. Edwards, my physics teacher, Mr. Raymond, my English teacher. They were all amazing people that I loved my junior year. And I can't say that I really remember my sophomore year teachers. I guess that means that it wasn't my favorite because I don't really remember anything from that year. That's why junior year was my favorite because of the teachers. But yeah.
That's really great. Yeah, I mean, that kind of was my sophomore year for me. I got to know all my favorite teachers like Mr. Shores and Mr. Edwards. I had Mr. Edwards for chemistry too, so shout out Mr. Edwards. He was great. I still talk to him, so pretty cool. But yeah.
I think it's really, for me, it's really rare. I don't think anyone ever really says that they've had the same teacher for more than like 2 years. And yet we've had Mr. Edwards. This is going to be my third year. But even to have him for like 2 years in a row is kind of crazy
Yeah.
because usually you switch teachers based on what year they are. But I don't know how he's managed to sneak into so many of my years, but I'm grateful that he's been there. So why don't we kind of, obviously, we are incoming seniors, and there is going to be incoming freshmen as usual. I think this year we are going to be with the class of 2029. Do you have any advice for these incoming freshmen?
Oh, for the incoming freshman, that's exciting. Honestly, I would just say be watch who you're friends with, because obviously like you're gonna know these people since middle school, but high school is a very like it's very different. The environment is different, and you're kind of just going to see how your friends are going to react to this environment or this change of environment, and so are you. And a lot of your friends are kind of you're going to just drift away from them, and some of them are going to stay, but just watch out with who you kind of not watch out, but like be prepared for change is all I want to say. And especially with your friends, they're obviously going to change and you're going to change, so yeah.
100%. I'd say my biggest advice has to do with the one thing that I was scared of the most was actually finding where my classes are. We have, do you know how many students we have? I think it's like,
In our class?
no, just like in the high school in
Oh,
general.
there's like 3,500 students.
So we got like almost 3,000, 4,000 students on campus. That means we have a lot of classrooms. We have a big campus. It's a 10-minute walk to get from science to like what we call like kind of like language campus, which is where you'll normally have like French or Spanish. It's a 10-minute walk. That's awful. My feet hurt just thinking about it. But I'd say my biggest advice is that if you can, on like the first couple of days, show up early so that you can find where your classes are. Because I did that and it was the best thing I could have ever done. I was just kind of like running around with all my friends and we found out the classes. We were not late to any, which is awesome. Because I think it's so funny when you're in class, first day of freshman year, someone walks in at like 30 minutes into class and you're like, oh, they got lost.
That was me in biology my freshman year. Thankfully, I found my link crew leader, and she helped me find my classes. But oh my god, that was horrible.
Oh my god, I bet. That's like my biggest fear is like being in front of like a ton of people and then you're just like, sorry guys, I was like on the wrong side of school. But yeah, kind of like on the topic of school, I want to talk about something that has a lot to do with kind of like what we've talked about a lot on this podcast, which is substances, right? one of the biggest things that you think of when you think of substances is this form of instant gratification that we're all used to. And I don't know if you've heard that word being thrown around, instant gratification, but it also translates to a lot of things that we don't really think about when it comes to school, which is I think is important to talk about since we have school next week. Do you kind of have like a rough
Yeah.
idea of instant gratification?
Yeah.
So kind of like to explain it to anyone who doesn't know, it's basically kind of like when you think of substances, you take it and it gives you that instant moment of happiness, right? It gives you that instant dopamine, I think it's what they call it.
Yeah.
And social media does the same thing. Like if you're hungry and then you eat like a snack, that's the same thing, although definitely not as harmful. But it's this instant gratification that has definitely ruined it. Well, it's actually ruined like a lot of my high school years because I think because we're talking about healthy habits for going into the school year, right? One of the most unhealthy habits I have, one of the most unhealthy habits I have had my 3 years has been procrastination, and that has been because I've been on my phone. How was your experiences like with being on your phone?
Yeah, me too. I feel like I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna study and I'm gonna log in, but I'm gonna have my phone just in case if I need to like search something. And then I'll like I'll study and then I'm like, oh, I don't know what this is. And instead of just like finding other resources to kind of like search it up or like not search it up, but like kind of find information on what I don't understand, I just instantly go on my phone and I get carried away and it's like I never finish studying and I just resort to cramming.
That's definitely me. I've crammed a lot of stuff. I can't say that it's worked. But I feel like parents, it's like the older you get, you realize that parents are right when they say like it was that damn phone. And I'm like, damn, it really was. But what I kind of wanted to bring up by bringing instant gratification is that there are a lot of healthy habits to actually combat that kind of like addiction to this instant gratification. I mean, what is like just kind of like at the top of your head, what's the one study method that you've used to kind of be successful?
Honestly, I'm not a very good studier, but I just like what I'll do is I'll leave my phone in another room, which is something I've been doing recently actually, just leaving my phone in another room and any other device like putting it away and just like sitting at my desk and kind of like you said like instant gratification. If I associate getting a reward from studying, I'll study more. So I'll be like, "Oh, maybe after I'm done studying, I can go downstairs and get some ice cream."
That's
And
perfect. I want
yeah,
ice cream right now.
just kind of getting into that habit of like, oh, if I do this, I'll get this in return. And then kind of just clicks in my mind and I associate, oh, I'm studying, I get to get a nap after and just like getting those rewards each
Definitely. I
time.
feel like we don't realize how much we can actually train our bodies. I think we have a lot of like social cues that our body has been accustomed to through our daily lives that we kind of get used to. I mean, kind of like a funny story in my physics class, I started making sandwiches so that I could eat them in class because I would get hungry. And then every single day when I would walk in, I would eat my sandwich. One day I forgot my sandwich. That was the worst day. I was so hungry. But it's kind of like that's what I'm talking about. It's like when you're training your body. And you can actually do the same thing when you're studying. It's like what you talked about. Like you're training your body to get that. I think what they call it is delayed gratification, which is the opposite of instant,
Oh, I
obviously.
didn't know that.
So if you think about it, when you go on your phone, you get that like instant gratification. You're like, oh, TikTok, this new reel or the news that we're looking at. When you're studying for like whoever knows how long you're studying, and then you get a treat after, you're like, I might like studying now. It's definitely not the quickest process because I don't think any of us actually love studying, but it's kind of like you're fixing your attention span.
Yeah.
You know, how's like what's your like perspective on like our attention spans now?
I feel like it's definitely gotten worse. I actually, like, for example, I was watching the new Amazing World of Gumball series, and I realized that they shortened the episodes by a lot, and I was kind of upset by that. And then they kept on mentioning how, like, kids keep on getting their attention spans, like, lowered, and I'm like, wait, this is, like, our reality, and it's, like, it's just horrible. I want more Gumball.
Do you think they made them shorter because they were finding like that people weren't watching the full episode?
Yeah.
That's actually really sad because like everyone should have more Amazing World of Gumball.
Right? Or just, like, anything in general, like, movies, and like not a lot of people appreciate them anymore. So.
Yeah. I think it's funny, even if you notice, your attention span's messed up because when's the last time you watched a video without skipping through? Double tapping to skip through? That's because our attention span's messed up. But I think that's also something that I want to introduce with like another healthy habit when it comes to studying is because our attention spans are kind of messed up. It's been found like statistically that the best, like, obviously it's going to be different for every person. It's obviously varies heavily by person, but it's said that around 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes is like the prime time where you're actually focusing. Because you said you've crammed before?
Yeah.
How was cramming? How did it make you feel?
Oh, stressful. It's the worst. It's just like, I feel like I get a lot of adrenaline when I'm like cramming, because I usually cram during like HSTs and all that. So.
And have you noticed that when you sit down to cram, you're anxious before you even start? So what I kind of wanted to bring up is setting a timer for like 20-25 minutes. I think they call it like the Pomodoro technique or something, which is, I think a lot of people have heard of it, but they never actually do it. But it's like we know that our brain is able to like comprehend and take in information for like 20 minutes, you need a break after. That's when you, like you said, you get your ice cream, right? And it's like you mentioned, you're training your body to get those cues where it's like, okay, I'm gonna sit down for 20 minutes, I'm gonna get something after. And that really kind of like rewires your body. And it's something that I've been implementing a lot more this kind of like towards the end of my junior year, which was last year. And I'd say it definitely worked for me. Have you tried that before?
No, I haven't. Is it the one where like you get 20 minutes, you stop, and 20 minutes you stop? Yeah. I've heard of that, but I've never tried it.
I think a lot of people place heavy emphasis on like, let's say like 25 minutes, 5 minutes break. They place a lot of emphasis on the actual specific time, but what people need to be focusing on is, okay, I'm gonna study for this amount of time because that's how long my brain can focus for, and then taking a break. But during that break, it has to be something that you like doing, whether that's, I don't know, even if it's like you're that addicted, going on your phone for like a couple minutes and then stepping outside to kind of disconnect to prepare yourself to come back in. And it's that emphasis on the rewarding yourself that really makes a difference. Yeah. Do you have any other study habits that you've kind of used? Or any that you've heard?
Not really. I really like the one where you disconnect for a bit and then just like come back. I definitely need to try it myself, but honestly that's all I do. I feel like I'm confident enough to know like what I'm doing, but then like in the end I'm really not. So it's like a habit I myself need to get out of. But I'll definitely try those. Those are really good.
Yeah, it's also for me, it's like my biggest thing is that I don't really get outside enough. Like, yeah, I will step outside of my house to go hang out with friends, right? And we all hang out. But when do you go to like a park to like sit down? And I feel like that's another healthy habit that a lot of people need to be implementing, is that when you're really stressed, when you're really stressed, you go onto social media to distract yourself, right? You're going through TikTok because you get that instant gratification. And I forgot what I was stressed about 5 minutes ago. And that test I have tomorrow is not my problem right now. But when you like drown out your thoughts like that and then it hits you, it's like you get so stressed. So it's like giving yourself time to allow your brain to just wander, like sitting outside, even if it's like in front of your door, looking outside, just sitting down on the steps and letting your brain think is what a lot of people don't do now, I feel.
Yeah. I personally really like going outside. I mean, I enjoy hiking and just being outside with my brothers and my family and chasing around my cat. But yeah, I know that some days, especially this summer, I tried my best to go outside, but there are just some days where I literally could not get out of bed. So I kind of just need that motivation. And whenever I need it, I'm just like, oh, I only live one time. So I might as well go outside and enjoy everything that's outside.
100%. Because it really, like, my biggest thing is that I'll be really stressed from school and then I'll go on a hike and I'll see like a really big mountain. And this is kind of like a weird like hack, but if you ever feel like your problems are really big and you're like drowning in your problems, if you go outside and you see something that's way bigger than you, whether that's like a giant redwood tree, whether that's like a huge mountain, all your problems seem really small because you're standing here and you're like, damn, I'm really tiny compared to this freaking mountain. And I feel like that works for me, and I don't really know why, but it does.
That's actually really good. I've never like thought of it that way. I kind of just go outside and I'm like, there's like colors out here. Like my room is a sad little blue room and it's dark and I'm staring at a phone screen and they're like tiny little pixels and I go
Yeah.
outside, I'm like, this isn't pixels. These are actually like, you know, it's
Heavy on the pixels, because I'll be on social media and I'll be like, wow, that's a really beautiful video with a really beautiful background. And then I'm like, wait, that's real?
that's
So
real.
I think I need to be getting out more. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that really like connecting outside is something that a lot of people don't really. Also, like our town really doesn't have a lot of. We're kind of like we're in the valley and this is like farmland, so it's hard to do that. But when you do have those moments where you're able to go outside, it definitely does help calm your mind.
Right. Yeah, just like appreciating everything outside. I'm a very well, I think I'm a very appreciative person. I just like going outside and I'm like, this is like real. Like there's more to life than just like being on my phone
Yeah,
and not studying.
definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like also like on the topic of like that weird kind of hack that I found that helps for me, something that I really wanted to try out was, like you're studying late at night and you have that lamp that you turn on. Do you use a lamp when you study?
Yeah, I have like fairy lights around my room and I turn them on.
I think for me, I was watching, because one of my biggest hacks that help, well, another healthy habit that's really helped me is when I get ready in the morning or when I'm cooking, I put on videos in the background because I don't really like the silence, right? Do you ever like, you're eating food, but you put on like a show so that you're not in the silence, right? Because we're so unaccustomed to having just silence, right? But what I started doing is I'll put on like TED Talks in the background. And it actually really surprised me, because I'm usually like, oh, I don't want to just sit down and watch TED Talks. Right. But when you're doing other stuff that's the main focus and then you have them in the background, I'm paying attention. I'm like, wow, this is actually really interesting. And then I'm like actually watching. Because when's the last time you watched a TED Talk?
I mean, I also frequently watch TED Talks and I have them in the background. Or just like videos in general. Like I tend to do that myself. Honestly, I thought it was just like me with my like solitude, just like wanting something in the background. Cause I have a family of 5, right? So it's like my mom and my dad have each other, and then my brothers are twins, so they're always together, and then there's just myself. And I was like thought that was just me in my solitude, like, oh, I need to like talk to people, I need to hear noises, and I just like have something in the background for that.
Yeah, I think more people should be, even if it's not like specifically TED Talks, a lot of colleges will actually post lectures from like professors who, like, I watched one that was on the topic of today's episode. Like I think yesterday I was watching an hour-long video on like study habits.
Wow, that's nice.
And it wasn't specifically just study habits, it was just like, how do you become a better like person when it comes to studying? And then it had like all of these different topics, but I love the video and I think everyone should be watching videos like that. Yeah. Even if it's only like one and then you're thinking about that one video for the week, but it really does make a big difference. Right. And I think watching those really long videos, it's like it fixed my attention span, because now after watching it for a couple weeks, I can actually pay attention and I'm not skipping through videos like I was mentioning, and I can actually watch a long video and it's super entertaining for me.
Yeah, I like that too. What I do is I like going on my TV and like putting on YouTube videos and just having like, or music too, just anything. Like whenever I'm doing anything, I love having my AirPod in and just like listening to music, and I feel like that's pretty good too. Or just like podcasts too, or audiobooks. Since especially right now we're on the topic of doing our English assignment, listening to audiobooks.
Yes. Oh my God, I love listening to audiobooks. I think I'm a terrible reader. I cannot sit down with a book and just me and my thoughts alone. But when you get a really good, YouTube has them for free for certain books.
Yeah.
When you find a really good narrator for a book, it makes it so entertaining. Because I think we're both taking AP Lit next year. So obviously, if you know anything about having advanced English classes, you have to read books over the summer. Terrible. I hate it. But at the same time, I've loved some of the books I've read. And we have to read 1984. and I found the most amazing audiobook. It has been the best experience of my life. I'm addicted.
You need to send it to me.
I will literally send it to you.
I need it. I've been procrastinating that book, but
it's 11 hours long, but you can put on the speed. You can put like 1.6 times speed. It is so good because of the sound effects and stuff like that. And even what's actually weird is like, because obviously throughout all of your high school years, you're gonna have to be writing essays, and sometimes like you're like, oh well, I don't know how to express this. When you watch audiobooks and they're reading it and they use sometimes they use advanced vocabulary, you start to adapt to it, and then next thing you know you're writing your essay and you're like, wow, this is really easier because you're used to hearing how people write when they're writing in books and stuff.
When I'm writing an essay, I kind of just like silence, because then I remember Mr. Shores, he would put music on, and sometimes the music would be like the craziest. I don't know if you had him, but if you've had him at some point, he'll put like the craziest music on, and we'll just be sitting in the back trying, like, stressing out because we have like 15 minutes left and I still have 2 body paragraphs left, and it's like rock and roll music.
It's all like oons, oons, oons,
Yeah.
oons, and it's like your life is on the line because this essay is due in 5 minutes.
Yeah, so I can't have like things in the background for me, but I get what you mean when you're just stuck and you need to find a word, and like having that extra help like really elevates
Yeah,
you.
definitely. Also, kind of like we talked about it in the beginning of the podcast episode today, but I kind of want to end with it too. Instant gratification, but when it actually does come to substances, because obviously we've been having like a fun time this summer, and we've been pretty chill. But what happens when you're stressed, right? And then your friend's like, "Here, take this. It'll help you with stress." You're like, "No, no, no." Shh, what the fuck? But just kind of like what the leading factor for why people turn to substances is stress, right? If it's not from something traumatic, if it's any of those other reasons, it's probably from stress, right? I know that based like with personal experiences with people that I know, when I'm always asking them about their experiences with it, it's usually because of that stress. That stress is the repeating factor. So how do we kind of combat that stress that we have during the school year? What's some of the habits that you've had to deal with that stress?
Honestly, I've never really like been into drugs or any of that, and I've always steered away from the crowd. But I know I have friends that are like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do it one time," and it's. And I always tell them like, you say you're only gonna do it one time, but I feel like you're gonna start doing it, and then you're gonna be even more stressed because you're not doing it, and it's kind of just like a loop you can't get out of.
Definitely, yeah. I feel like you don't underestimate how much your body can have these urges without you. I mean, if you think about it, if you've ever been really hungry, let's say someone's trying to diet, right? And you're like, oh, I'm only gonna eat salads for the rest of my life. But you put like a Chick-fil-A sandwich in front of me, and your body just acts out of your control. Like, oh. So it's like you don't understand how much your body can have these urges without like your mind, and like your body can be two separate things sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like before that happens, you need to, like, let's say I'm really stressed from school. I'm gonna step outside. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna step outside. I'm gonna go on the walk, deal with that stress. I'm gonna write down all of what I need to do today so it looks less intimidating, so that it's about finding those ways to de-stress yourself so that you're not turning to substances.
Honestly, the way you put it of like writing things down, I know it's like off topic, but like writing things down, it makes it seem less intimidating is really good.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, I have so much to do. Wait, I'm gonna write it down. I only have an essay and a presentation to do by tonight, and then I'm set. And it looks way less intimidating. And it's so satisfying when you get to check it off, and you're like, yes, yes. And you could even write down, and you give yourself a note that's like 1 ice cream I'm eating. That's another ice cream I'm eating. That's like 5 ice creams I'm eating.
Right.
But it's like that gratification when you're like training yourself. It feels kind of creepy because you're like, you think of like a dog. You give a dog a treat when they do something, but it works because it's like I mentioned, like your body and your mind are two different things. So it's like you're training yourself. But yeah, do you have any last advice for the incoming anyone? If you're like, we have school for like how many years of our life? A lot of years. Yeah. So do you have any more advice for anyone who's in school?
Don't do drugs, guys. Stay out of the bathrooms when there's sketchy people. Just It's not worth it.
That's really funny that you bring up. But yeah. The bathrooms, please. Please, I need to go pee. Don't be in the bathrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not worth getting caught and then people thinking that. It's happened to me so many times. It's not even funny.
Please.
I'm innocent. I've never
Please.
touched a single drug in my life.
Yeah, that's really funny. Thank you so much for like making me laugh because I forgot about that the bathrooms are such like a big issue during school. Um, but yeah,
Go to the science bathrooms. They're the best.
they're really clean in there.
They're really clean and no one goes in there to do drugs.
Yeah, it's like my
And
safe haven.
It's funny because they're the most hidden too. Wait, don't go to do drugs in the science bathroom.
Just please control yourself because I'm over here people are trying to get an education and you're kind of messing it up. But yeah, well, thank you so much for being with us and thank you, Cami, for
Thank you.
introducing yourself. I love all of our team and I love having a new member. So it's been an awesome conversation with you. Thank you so much. Make sure you follow all our socials. Thank you.